Welcome to War Thunder DEVServer with Subdued. How y'all doing today? Well, DEVServer's up. Been taking a look around. Yeah. In my situation, it really isn't anything I'm that excited about. There were some things to be excited about, some things to be basically, okay. Um, One of the things that was kind of like, okay, was the F4S, the Phantom 2 F4S. Not a bad plane. Should have been added last patch, and or this patch they should have given us the other A6E, the SWIP. Didn't get the SWIP, but we got the F4S, which is basically an upgraded F4B to F4J standards. Roughly the same engines, same weapons, same electronics. It's basically just a rehash of the F4J, which is a rehash of the F4B. And if they wanted to give us something a little different, it should have been the F4G, the Wild Weasel. But they aren't giving us any Wild Weasel equipment yet. So, we got the last Navy Phantom, which, not bad, other than the fact that it's $70 for another Phantom. That would make it the fourth Phantom in the U.S. tech tree. Good plane. Comes with all the bells and whistles. Modifications. It gets the AIM 9H. It gets the AIM 7F. And then it gets all the bombs and some rockets. The gun is a suspended gun pod, just like the F4J. If you've got the F4J, you know what the F4S is. If you haven't gotten to the F4J, the F4S can give you a leg up on getting there, if you don't already have the A6E. Germany. Germany got blessed with the MiG-29, and that's a good thing. They honestly needed something better than the F4F. The MiG-23 MLA is a good plane, but it still doesn't have the maneuverability of the MiG-29. USSR. Back and US, back and US, back and USSR. Okay, the Yak 141. Honestly, I like it. As far as VTOL goes, I have no use for it. As far as being a fighter, it's good. It's maneuverable. It's got IRST. It's got excellent radar. It's got the missiles that will tear your enemies apart beyond visual range. That includes heat seekers as well as radar guided. Maybe in the future, additional weapons will be brought to bear, but as it sits right now, it's a pretty good plane. It's easy to land, it's easy to take off. I mean, it's really easy to take off. Take a full load of gas on any map that's any size. You're going to need it. Although it is pretty economical on a afterburner. It still isn't going to, you're not going to be able to fly for an hour. I think that's pretty much it for the Russians. And I gotta say, I do like the Yak 141. Let's just take a look. Modifications. All the standard stuff over here. BL13 or B13Ls, B8M1s, S24s, Fab 250s, Fab 500s. Now, what they've done with the missiles really kind of confused me. I was like, what? Oh, excuse me. I've been up for a long time today. The R27R comes before the R60M, and a side grade gets you the R27ER. Take the ER if you're going to be taking radar shots. R27T is at the bottom of the list. Again, a very good weapon. Makes for very good turns. Now, the weapons loadouts, missiles, bombs, rockets, gun pods, bombs. This is your initial loadout. 2 R60Ms. Good weapons, use them. Then you get the R27Rs. Pretty good for long distance shots. You can lock them at 25 kilometers and you can shoot them. Max speed is Mach 3.5. Ain't nobody going to run away from it. Take your altitude when you get that. Then you've also got the ERs. Lock range 25 kilometers. Launch range from the point of launch, it can go 100 kilometers. That thing's got some reach out and touch somebody. Maximum speed, Mach 5.8. It's got a long burn duration. And the maximum overload is 30 G, so it maneuvers very well. Just remember, at higher speeds, 30 Gs comes up much faster, which does slow down its turning capability. So if somebody's moving really fast, they can't turn as tight. Same goes for missiles. but it's got a 15 kilogram warhead. So I would say this is probably one of the premier aircraft of the patch. Probably not one I'll be flying a lot of because it is basically a pure fighter, but it's a good plane. The Tornado F3. Now, if you thought that the GR1 and the, what is it, the IDS versions were bricks, you're right, they are. And this is no different. When you get up to speed, it's a brick. And when you get slow, it's a brick. The plane is heavy. It's designed to be a long-distance shooter interceptor. It was meant to take on the bombers. It's really not a dogfighter. So if you think you're getting the dogfighter that you want, you're going to have to wait until you get the Typhoon. Stick with your Phantoms and your Harrier. Yeah, you guys got 4 Phantoms too. FGR1, FGR2, FG1. No, you got 3. I'm sorry. And the F4J UK. And the reason you got the F4J UK is because towards the end of their service life, they needed some replacements while they were waiting on the Tornado F3s and the Typhoons, and the U.S. supplied them some ex-Navy F4Js. The plane's a brick. It doesn't turn for diddly squat, and as of the DEVServer, it was not doing very good on radar lock. And even if you did get a radar lock, your missiles were having a bit of a time locking on to the radar return. Japan. Pardon me, I haven't gotten very far in Japan because I basically ran into a headwind. But they have the F-16AJ. Let's look at the modifications. You get a couple of different bombs. Mark 82 500 pounders, 1,000 pounders, the 84s. Excuse me, 2,000 pounders. The 82s are 500 pounders. Good. You also get the AGM-65 Bravo, which is a top-down dual charge Maverick. FFARs, AIM-9L, AIM-7F, AIM-9Ps to start. Bombs, bombs, drop tank, Mavericks, AIM-9Ps, AIM-9Ls, and the Sparrow. Basically, it's a good all-rounder for the Japanese air tree. And yeah, you want the F2? Well, I would too. F2 is going to be a very substantial upgrade to the F-16. Better radar, better missiles. I believe they use the AAM-2 and AAM-3 on the F2. China I don't care about. Nothing in the Italian tree. France gets overlooked again, which I didn't expect them to get anything. Sweden, again, nothing. And Israel, nothing. So the MiG-29 is basically a long-awaited upgrade for Germany. And I thank Germany for getting them too, because after they reunited, they sold the MiG-29s to the United States, and we got to learn a lot about the MiG-29. It was actually quite the deal. Of course, we also got to learn about the MiG-27, the MiG-23. There were a lot of things that we picked up over time. But that's pretty much a rundown of aviation. I did leave out the Little Bird because I don't do helicopters. I'm sure somebody's going to find that to be fun to fly. It's supposed to be really maneuverable, and when you get the Hellfires, it will be close on to lethal. I'm waiting for the Kiowa to show up. That would be an interesting helicopter to see. The Kiowa would be just poke the sensor up over the hill, look for everybody, laze the targets, and say, okay, pop up and fire. As the Apaches come up, fire their Hellfires, and then come down. And those laser-guided Hellfires just go right after the target. Meanwhile, the Kiowa is just sitting there going, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, waiting, waiting, waiting. Boom! And another one bites the dust. Well, folks, no flying, which isn't a bad thing. Mainly because while I was flying the Yak 141 today, there were a lot of A, team killing, and B, people who were more interested in seeing how, well, they just wanted to kill anybody that was on the opposing team, and they weren't being polite because DEVServer doesn't count for points. Kill the AI. You get just as many points for killing AI as you do for killing players. And players are attempting to figure out the machine first off. By the way, the Yak 141 maneuvers very well. If you have the Yak 38 and either the premium one or the one in the tech tree, you know how bad they maneuver. They're basically a straight line fighter. They fly in a straight line, and pretty much any turn you make is going to be on the order of, well, a country mile is small compared to the turning radius of one of those planes. This plane, though, can pretty much hang with a MiG-29. That tells you a lot. All right. That's enough. This is Subdude signing out. Y'all have a pleasant today, a better tomorrow. We'll catch you in the sky in air realistic on the good maps. Oh, by the way, that reminds me, 2 new maps. Sinai, not bad at all. And Pyrenees. Pyrenees is interesting. I like it. Yeah. Places to duck and weave and put mountains between yourself and the enemy and pop up out of nowhere, and a broad fighting spot in the middle where you got ground targets to pummel. If you can get the fighters to leave you alone, or your team's fighters to do their job, which God knows they don't do. But that's about it. This Subdude signing out. Y'all have a pleasant today, a better tomorrow. We'll catch you in the sky and air realistic on the good maps, of which there are still too damn few. Subdude. Out!